the road is just
Hey guys, it's Vanessa and welcome back to my channel.
melody unknown.
Welcome back you guys to another week of What's for Dinners, where I share with you guys some of the meals my blended family of 6 and I had throughout the week. If you've noticed, it's not Friday, it is Sunday. This is going to be my new day for posting. I hope you guys are okay with that. Now, I want to kick it off with a collab with an amazing woman, Bethanie from over at Budget. Bethanie, if you guys haven't checked her out, I strongly recommend you do that right after this video. She has an incredible personality, you guys. If you love voiceovers, and I just find her voice and her accent so soothing, maybe that's just me, but she does amazing real life What's for Dinners. If you're looking for quick and easy ways to feed your families this week, check her out. Great cleaning, motivation, grocery hauls, all of the above. If that's something that sounds good to you, head on over. All right, guys, the first meal of the week I'm going to be sharing with you is crusted Parmesan chicken with air fryer potatoes. So let's get right into it.
My own business, never knew the life had just begun.
If this is your first time stopping by my channel and you're here from Bethanie's, or you just found my channel, welcome, and I hope you guys stick around. I always like to take a minute at the beginning of every recipe or whatever dinner I'm cooking for my family, which could be nuggets and fries, and show you guys everything that's going to go into it. So here it is, everything. I've been too busy talking and I missed a little bit at the beginning, but obviously you're going to need some chicken. I'm going to use some garlic and butter to go ahead and fry up my chicken with some oil, some olive oil, and some canola oil. I had a block of Parmesan cheese that I'm going to grate. I'm going to go ahead and season my breadcrumbs because you are going to want to coat this chicken. I'm going to use panko, parsley, garlic powder, salt, and pepper, and we're going to fry up some potatoes. It's going to be that simple, you guys. I'll serve it up with some cucumbers on the side. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and prep our potatoes to fry or air fry.
You came into my life like a sweet embrace, swept me off my feet and made me whole again. You came in my life, I wanna see your face, never will I be.
Okay, now we're going to go ahead and season our potatoes. I do like to put a little bit of olive oil on them before I throw them in the air fryer and before I put any of the seasoning, because it'll help the seasonings adhere to the potatoes and it gives them a little bit of oil to help crisp up in the air fryer. If you guys haven't tried this organic no salt seasoning from Costco, I absolutely love it, and every time I make these I use it. I also like to throw a little paprika on there. I ended up throwing some minced onion because my onion salt was all hardened up. I threw some garlic salt and a little bit of white pepper on there. I'm going to toss it together, throw it in my air fryer on high for anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. It really depends on how many you're cooking and what size you cut them. Now for the chicken, it's super simple. I am just going to add my panko breadcrumbs and season them with basil, oregano, and some dried parsley. And I'm going to use equal parts shredded Parmesan and equal parts breadcrumbs. So I just had a cup of each and I mixed them all together just to get ready to dip my chicken in. So I just used a Ziploc container. FYI, I would use a plate or something larger because it was a little bit difficult to press the chicken in. I'm also going to season the egg, and I'm going to put a little bit of water just to stretch it out a bit and make it thinner. And I decided to use some garlic powder and some everything but the bagel seasoning. Since it has some minced onion and the garlic in it, I thought it would be complimentary. I'm just going to douse the chicken in some egg and then press it into the breadcrumb mixture. Now, when I've showed you guys how to make chicken parm in the past, there's flour involved. With this one, it's not necessary. You don't need to do that. You're just going to push these breadcrumbs and cheese right onto it and just gently lift it onto the plate, and then you'll gently put it into your frying pan just so that you preserve as much of the coating as you can. So here I'm just going to shallow fry these in a frying pan. This is my rock pan. You guys know I rave about it constantly. I'm using 2 tablespoons of butter, and I want to say probably about 3 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil, because you need enough in there to really crisp up that coating. I would say I cook these for approximately 15 to 20 minutes. It just really depends on your oven, and this is a stubborn burner for me, and sometimes it turns off on me. It's really annoying, but it still turned out great. Everything was moist and juicy. I used a meat thermometer. That's my number one tip for you, to check and see if your meat's done so that it doesn't get overcooked, but you're not poisoning your family. Look at the crispy brown goodness of this cheese and chicken, served up with some of that gravy and some of those potatoes and some sliced up cucumbers. Let's just say I had a happy family. So if you're not following me on Instagram, head on over at Vanessa White Randomness and you would have known this meal was coming. I seem to be sharing a childhood favorite every week lately, and boiled dinner, you guys, aka Jiggs dinner from Newfoundland. It is a classic. It is a pot of boiled pork, salt meat, usually beef. We use pork riblets, is more traditional to a Jiggs dinner than corned beef. So it's very comparable to corned beef and cabbage, I guess. So it comes vacuum sealed in these bags, these pork riblets. I'm going to show you guys in a minute. If you have an aversion to raw meat, maybe click ahead a couple minutes, but it is so good, you guys, and salty and delicious. I don't do it by the package directions, which I will show you here. I do it the way my mother has always showed me to do it. We go ahead and open up the meat. We boil it for about half an hour. We go ahead and rinse it, drain it. I shouldn't say rinse it. Go ahead and drain it, and then fill the pot back up with water and boil it for another 3 hours. This is what it looks like. It's just all salted and brined and delicious goodness. I'm telling you right now, it's so good. So good, but you have to boil it in order to break down the fibers and to even make it palatable. If you don't boil it and cook it the way that I'm showing you, it will be excessively salty. So make sure that you do this. So like I said, the process is simple. You boil for 30 minutes, drain it, fill it back up, boil for 2 hours, add cabbage and turnip, boil for 45 minutes, add potatoes and carrots, and boil for as long until everything is cooked at this point. Eat and enjoy. So I'm gonna just put down my mic and let you guys watch the magic happen. All right, you guys knew I wouldn't put my mic down for that long. I just had to chime in here. This is not my stove being dirty. This is a very messy meal to cook, and I don't have a very deep stock pot, and it boils over every time. I sacrifice my stove for this, you guys. It is amazing. Do it. So here I'm just adding the turnip and the cabbage. I like to cut my cabbage up into quarters like this. It just seems to work best when I'm cooking it. And if you cut it too big, you just end up having to boil it too long, and your other vegetables would get too soggy. But if you've never had cabbage out of a dinner like this, there's nothing beats it. Nothing beats it. It is salted to perfection every time. Now, I missed the clip of me throwing in the potatoes and carrots, but I did that as well. And just look at how bright and fun this looks. I don't know. There's something, this is like the OG crock pot. Do you know what I mean? Except you kind of got to be by it all day because it is boiling. And sometimes if the water starts to drop, the levels will drop. You're going to have to go ahead and add more water. So just keep an eye on it throughout the day, but give it a little tender TLC. That was repetitive because TLC is tender loving care, but do that. I'm telling you guys, you're not going to regret it. You need to try this. Also, I just want to mention I always fish my vegetables out because if they sit in the pot too long, they'll just get super mushy, but the meat is fine. The longer it sits in there, I swear, the better it gets. Okay, you guys, I am not reinventing the wheel with this meal, but I said this was a bit of a pantry challenge week. These meatballs were something I meal prepped a few weeks ago and knew they were in the freezer. So those are some homemade meatballs by Mama, me. And I have some garlic knots I'm going to heat up in the oven, my OG favorite Classico sweet basil marinara pasta sauce, a can of tomatoes, and you have yourself a fabulous Italian meal, you guys. So I'm going to show you how complicated this is. I'm going to dump these meatballs into this pot, and then I'm going to dump these 2 jars of sauce. I know, this is, you guys are blown away right now. I can feel the blown away vibes from wherever you're watching. I'm going to go ahead and dump this can of tomatoes in there, and I'm going to stir this up. And I'm going to tell you right now, all of the kids and Jamie are going to tell me this is the best meal I've ever made. It almost hurts my feelings when the best meals I make are from a jar, but whatever. I'm going to add some olive oil to my pasta water. I always do this, you guys. It just helps keep your pasta from sticking together. Make sure you salt it really well. Essentially, your pasta water should taste like the sea. Have you guys noticed kind of a repeated visitor at my feet here in all of these videos? Yeah, Charlie is never far behind. So we got these garlic knots to try. It's the same brand as the garlic bread you can buy from Costco in bulk. We normally buy that, but I saw this at my local grocery store and thought we'd give it a shot. You cook it right in the bag, flip it, and then do it for 5 more minutes, and it's done in 10 minutes. So I figured as soon as I threw the pasta in, I would throw the bread in. This is about the only shot I got of the meal because as I was about to plate it up and take a photo, my friend arrived, and 2 hours later, well, you know how it goes. These ended up being a huge hit. I will definitely be repurchasing them. I will still get my bulk garlic bread at Costco because it's just nice to have in the freezer. But on nights when I know I'm doing something like this, it's just nice to have for something different. I didn't end up getting a shot of the rest of the meal, you guys, but here was the leftovers that I had for the next day. So I'm starting this new thing on my What's for Dinners where I share our favorite meal of the week as the final meal of our video. And you guys, these stuffed peppers were my favorite meal. This was brought on by Jennifer over at Southern Mama Drama. She had made them. She said they were her brother's recipe. You guys, they were amazing. I didn't end up using everything she did, but she definitely inspired me to go ahead and give these a try. So I ended up using the marinara, some tomato soup, and oregano and basil as my sauce base for these. Basically, if you've never had stuffed peppers, it's cooked rice, which I'm going to show you right here, cooked ground beef, and whatever else you want to put in there, and you stuff it in a pepper. So I'm not going to show you guys too much detail about how I cook my rice in my foodie. I will link another video below all about that, but basically 2 minutes in your pressure cooker or your Ninja Foodie pressure cooker, whatever works for you, and then a 10-minute natural release, and your rice is perfect. So that's all I did ahead of time before I made these. While that was cooking, I went ahead and cooked up my ground beef, to which you just want to go ahead and combine the both of them once they're cooked. Now, all I'm doing is going around the edge of my pepper to slice the top off. I'm trying to be careful, you guys. I'm pretty good with a knife, so don't panic too much. I'm just trying to show you guys a good angle here. Now, don't go all the way through. Give it a good twist, and you should be able to get that pit out with all the seeds, and then give it a good tap. Pull out any of the white ribs, that's the kind of the white parts inside, because they can be a little bit bitter, and then your pepper is ready to be stuffed. My ground beef too much at this point, just a little bit of salt and pepper, and I will season it more, the mixture, when I combine it all together. The only thing I'm about to do though is go ahead and brush the peppers with some olive oil, because Jennifer said it'll stop them from burning in the oven.
need someone to save me. No, and don't come running to blame me.
I'm also quickly realizing that this is not going to work and I should probably get a bowl. So I do eventually transfer this to a bowl, literally dump probably about a 1/4 cup of the marinara sauce, a whole can of tomato soup, and as many shakes of oregano and basil and garlic powder. It's just up to you to taste whatever your family's preferences are. If you had Italian seasoning, that would be good in here. If you had onions and you wanted to put that in there, go for it. I just kind of worked with the things that I had in my pantry.
Don't need you here to say you're sorry, 'cause if you're gonna leave me, then just do it. Don't take it slow, don't be gentle. No, I just gotta know, if you're gonna leave me, then just do it.
So now it's super basic. I'm going to stuff these right to the brim, and some of them were even coming out a little bit. I just really like them to be full. These are super basic, you guys. You bake them in the oven at 350 for 1 hour. I did cover them halfway just because my oven tends to burn everything. And then for the last 10 minutes, I added some mozzarella cheese to the top. When it was melty, I turned the broiler on for about 2 minutes to get it crispy, and you'll see it's perfect.
'Cause there is no one other than me that can make you feel the way you feel when I hold you. I think I said enough. You said you love for me something brand new. You said this is something you would never do. Here we are in your car. Let me see who you are, who you really are. Yeah.
My house smelled amazing and it tasted so delicious. Like, you know, sometimes you eat ground beef and it feels heavy, but there's something about having it with the peppers and everything. It was just so good. I served it with ranch and veggies, which honestly kind of just made it even more perfect. This meal was definitely the favorite of the week. And there you have it, you guys. That wraps up another week of What's for Dinner. I hope you enjoy these. I love sharing with you guys what I fed my family throughout the week. If you're new here from Budget Bethany's channel, hello and welcome. And if you've never gone to her channel, I hope that's where you're headed right now to like and subscribe and leave her a comment. Let her know I sent you. All right, guys, I'll see all of you in my next video. Take care.
If you're gonna leave me, then just do